this video is going to be about the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival 2017. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview because there is a ton of information. So check out my blog at www.loveandmama.com for a more detailed description of everything. I'm going to go through like the booths, food booths and stuff, and some of the events that they have. Sorry if you hear noise. It is summer. The kids are home. The dog is jiggling around. I apologize for that in advance. I'm going to give you recommendations for food booths based on previous visits that we just found absolutely incredible. So, you know, something that you can check out and plan while you are there. All right, so this year, 2017, the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival takes place early. August 31st to November 13th, the longest the festival has ever been. So they just keep increasing the days more and more, which is great for you. Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. I'm just going to call it Food and Wine from here on out, okay? It's long. So you do not need a separate ticket for this. You don't. Admission to Epcot, and that is it. You are golden. You are in, and you can enjoy almost everything. Some things do cost extra, but you could still peruse and look around. The number one thing probably to this is the food booths, or are the food booths, right? So throughout the area, at the food booths and in the entry port, which is in between Future World and World Showcase, you can pick up a festival passport, and this is last year's. So this is the Food and Wine Festival passport from last year. It's the outside, and it has pictures of the food and festival center information, as well as the food booths and their menus. So that's really cool to check out. In the middle, there are country stickers. And when you go to a country, you can just put your sticker right there so you know. And you can even check off what you tried, what you liked, what you prefer. So it's just a really cool and fun way to keep track of the festival. So once you have your passport, if you choose to pick it up, once again, they are free. You can start hitting the food booths. I'm going to check my notes, so if I keep looking down, I apologize. One thing that you will notice about the food booths is that some of the countries are in Epcot, and then they like to bring in other countries that are not in Epcot, which makes it fantastic. Flower and Garden, the food booths there tend to just be like from the countries in Epcot, so that's what makes Food and Wine just stand out just a little bit more. All of the food portions at the food booths are small. If you have a dining plan, quick service, regular or deluxe, you can use your snack credits for most of the items at the food booths. Not alcohol, but food-wise. So that is something to consider, and then that way you don't have to worry about having a dining reservation in Epcot, and you can use your snack credits and snack your way around the world. So first booth we have is Active Eats. And Active Eats is brand new this year, and they're offering healthy options, so check that out. There is Africa, and in Africa I recommend the Barbary style beef tenderloin tips with onions, jalapenos, tomato, and pop. It is incredible. It is amazing. Also new this year, the Almond Orchard, hosted by Blue Diamond Almond Breeze. So there's your almond milk. So if you have a milk allergy or you prefer almond milk, I would check out this booth. Another booth is Australia, and the recommendation in Australia is a dessert, and that is the yellow cake dipped in chocolate and shredded coconut. My daughter had like 3 of these. They're like I said, small portions, but it was really, really good. Belgium. And in Belgium, what do you get in Belgium? A waffle. So the Belgian waffle with warm chocolate ganache and whipped cream, that is fantastic. For Brazil, the Brazilian cheese bread. I know someone whose wife loves this so much that he had to learn how to make it at home. So I would definitely check out the Brazilian cheese bread. You have another booth called the Brewers Collection, and the Brewers Collection, beer, right? So they have great beer and flights as well sometimes, so you can sample different kinds of beer in smaller portions. Canada has the Canadian cheddar cheese soup served with a pretzel roll. Now, this is hard because it's really, really good and it's such a small portion, so you may go back for another. They also have a steak there that is really, really good. New this year is the Cheese Studio, hosted by Boston Cheese. So lots of different cheeses to check out. Then you have China. And at China, I recommend the spicy chicken bao bun. If you've never had a bao bun, it's like a steamed bun. It is really, really good, and it's light, and then it's packed full of flavor, and it is just incredible. The Chocolate Studio. The Chocolate Studio is a great, great booth because of course it's chocolate, right? You have the liquid nitro chocolate almond truffle with warm whiskey caramel, and you drink it. It's like a little shot. I mean, if I could bathe in this stuff, I would. It is absolutely incredible. New this year, you have Coastal Eats. And this time, they're taking you to the West Coast. So check that one out. Another booth is called Craft Beers. And I know craft beers, their main thing would be beer, but they are having some like little bar food in there. And they have a chilled scotched egg wrapped in sausage with mustard sauce. And I love me a scotched egg, which you can find at Rose and Crown in the United Kingdom there in Epcot, but love a scotched egg. You also have Earth Eats, inspired by the show The Chew. And The Chew always, for the last, well, not always, I want to say for the last 2 or 3 years, has had a booth at Food and Wine. A very popular booth at Food and Wine is Farm Fresh. And I actually recommend the crispy chicken with griddled cornbread and red-eyed gravy. New this year, now this booth is very, very interesting. Flavors from Fire. And they're going to add spice to the food in different ways, including chocolate. So check that out if you're in a really spicy food. France has a great Cabernet Sauvignon braised beef with mashed potatoes. They also have escargot as well. I am not brave enough to try it, so I recommend the beef. Germany has an apple strudel with vanilla sauce. Incredible. Another booth is Greece, and then we're going to move on to Hawaii. And for Hawaii, I totally recommend the pork slider with sweet and sour Dole Whip pineapple chutney and spicy mayonnaise, and it's so good. So good. Hops and barley. See a theme? Yep, it's not just food and wine anymore. It's now it's food, wine, and beer. They also have little snacky foods. So they have the New England lobster roll, which I love New England lobster rolls. Returning since 2009 will be India, and I'm really excited to try that one because I haven't tried that booth yet, so I don't have a recommendation for it. Another great booth is Ireland, and then we're going to move on to Islands of the Caribbean. And in the Islands of the Caribbean, I have 2 recommendations. I have the Jamaican beef patty, so good, and then Mojo pork with black beans and cilantro rice and pickled red onions. Oh, I actually like the pork better than the Jamaican beef patty, but they're both, I mean, they're both good, would put that, but the pork is better. Then you have Italy, and Italy changed up their menu this year. They don't have their ravioli, so I'm interested to check that one out. For Japan, I recommend the wasabi steamed pork dumplings. Another great booth this year that's brand new, that has hype, is Light Lab. And Light Lab is drinks concoctions. So they have this cotton candy seltzer water thing. Curious, I don't know, a little weary, but we'll see. Mexico is another great booth, and they have the rib eye taco. I highly, highly recommend it. For Morocco, for that booth as well, I recommend the kefta pocket, which is seasoned ground beef in a pita pocket. This is great. The next booth up is New Zealand. And for New Zealand, I recommend the seared venison loin with wild mushroom marsala sauce. If you don't like venison, I'm sorry. I born and raised in deer country, and I just think it's really, really good. Patagonia, the beef empanada is really great. There's also Scotland and the Wine and Dine Studio as well. Then another booth that is returning since 2010 is Spain. I'm really, really interested to try that one out. Try that out one, but I haven't had that one before. And Thailand is returning since 2009. Love Thai food, so I'm going to try that one out as well, and I'll get back to you guys. All right, there are lots and lots of extras. And I'm just going to rattle them off and give you some details on some of them. Some of the other details haven't been released yet. I know it's August and it starts on August 31st, but that's how it is. There is a thing called Back to Basics, and this you discover tips and tricks from culinary pros. So it's a little seminar. It does not cost extra. There are book signings and meet and greets. There are bottle signings and meet and greets. There is a seminar on Seasons of the Vine, which is free, and you get a behind the vines look at the process that transforms grapes into wine. And now I am currently transplanted into wine country, so I see that there are grapes everywhere I look, so it's a really cool process. Also, in the Festival Center, you have the Stockpot Shop. And this is you can get cookbooks and apparel and artwork and food and wine merchandise. The Festival Center is located, so when you enter Epcot and you're in Future World and you go to the left, you will see giant flags, you will see giant signs. It used to be a pavilion in the past, and now it is the Festival Center. You also have the Festival Center wine shop. You have Intermissions Cafe if you want to grab a lunch, a snack. You have live episodes of the show, The Chew. They will be filming in Epcot from 9 a.m. to noon on October 4th, 5th, and 6th. So that is something to check out if you are a big fan of that show. I would get there early those days if you're going to attend a taping. You also have, hosted by Girardelli, you have the chocolate experience, and you discover the sights, smells, and flavors of chocolate from bean through the process into a chocolate bar. Now, an added bonus, but you have to pay for it, are food and wine demonstrations. And there are a lot of them. So check out my blog. There are a ton. There is a lesson from the pros, and this is a 45-minute demonstration where guests can learn culinary tips and tricks, and you do get to nibble on some samples. This takes place in the Festival Center. It is $17 per guest. There is a Put Pro training on high frappe. There you go. And this focuses on the art of mixology. Ha ha ha. Guests get a hands-on learning experience that combines sweet and savory delectables with cocktails and wine and spirits. So once again, you get to sample. That is $49 per guest. There is the Eat, Drink, and Ask Questions, and this is a demonstration with VIP chefs. And there's tips and tricks, and you get a cooking demo, and you finish with a sparkling toast. So this one is up there in price. It is $129 per guest, but that is because you are being instructed by the best of the best with chefs. Glass is in Session is another demonstration as well, and you get presentations from beverage experts and sommeliers, and they talk about obviously wine, and you get to sample some adult beverages, and that is actually $17 per guest. If you are a cheese fan, then check out the Become an International Cheese Whiz, and you will sample and learn about different kinds of cheeses. That is $89 per guest. And I'm going to look at my notes. I'm just going to go through the title of them. So you have the French cheeses and wine. You have the Italian cheeses and wine. Mediterranean cheeses and wine. Old World Cheese Classic Cheese. The Great Cheese and Wines of the United States. Great British Cheeses and Ales. And the Season's Best Cheeses and Wines. So I would check that out. If you are interested in any of those things, those wines and food demonstrations, I will call 407-939-3378 because spots do fill up quickly and they are open right now for reservations. So, you know, do that right away if you are interested in any of those. And some of those are really, really good value. $17 a piece, like that's a really good value for an extra demonstration, especially at Disney World. All right, as I mentioned in the Passport book, the Eat to the Beat concert series. And the Eat to the Beat concert series has 3 concerts daily, 5:30, 6:45, and 8 o'clock. The concerts are about 35 minutes. And I'm going to have a list of the artists on my blog. I know there's Tiffany, there's Fuel, Sister Hazel, Air Supply, David Cook, Sugar Ray, Taylor Dane, Jeffrey Osborne, Toad the Wet Sprocket, Kenny G, Tiffany, Hanson, Living Color, Boys to Men, Squeeze. So there are lots and lots of great bands to check out at Food and Wine this year. There are also Eat to the Beat dining packages, and you get to pick from 15 Epcot restaurants. And you get an appetizer, entree, and dessert, or a buffet, or family style, and a non-alcoholic beverage. And you also get reserved seating for one of the concerts for that day. So that is something to totally check out. Save time not waiting in line, especially if it's somebody that's very popular that you know is that people are going to want to see. A fantastic thing that they do at Food and Wine, I love this, is you can get a mini festival gift card, and it comes on a little wristband, and you can put money on it and then go around to the different food booths and just scan the gift card so you don't have to keep worrying about paying. I mean, now I guess you could scan your Magic Band too. But this is a great way. You can reload it as often as you like. It's a cute little souvenir. And it's just a nice way to keep track, especially if you are on a budget. Now, I know throughout all of this, Food and Wine is a lot for adults. I'll be honest. Kids can enjoy it too, especially if you have a foodie in your family. My daughter is totally turning into one. She loved Food and Wine last year, and she was only, how old is she? She was only 8. Woo! And she loved it. They have also, for the kids, Remy's Ratatouille Hide and Squeak. And we picked this up at the Port of Entry shop in the main plaza there before you hit World Showcase. And it comes with a board. And it's just filled out, but it had stickers as well. And this was $8.99, and each of my kids got one. So when we went around World Showcase, they looked for Remy and what he was holding in that country. And he's little, like little in some areas. You really have to keep an eye out. So it's really cool. And then you put the sticker of what he's holding in that country. And then we took it back to Port of Entry. They stamped it complete. And then my children got to pick a limited release pin. And my daughter picked Remy with garlic, and my son picked Remy with herbs. So they each got a really cool souvenir for completing this little hide and squeak. And it was something also, just a little bonus for them to keep them occupied more so. My son, I mean, my daughter loved doing it too, but like I said, she's turning into a foodie, so she was all about the food booths. So that is my very, very, very quick whirlwind tour of the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival 2017. I am so excited to go this year. My countdown calendar has begun. I am, less than 80 days out. I cannot wait to go this year. I'm so excited. Please let me know if you've been to Food and Wine. What is your favorite? Next week, I'm going to talk about Hollywood Studios, give you an overview, and then we're going to go back to that little series that I had begun with Magic Kingdom and Epcot. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.